Okay, so here's a funny thing. I do lots of these 200k rides, and obviously normally they're pretty much all the same really, but this one's a bit different. I was doing that first one on a fixed gear bike, so I've never done that before. I've only ever ridden a fixed gear for a maximum of sort of 20 miles or so, and even then not that much, maybe half a dozen rides or so. So straight into it, 200k. Can't pretend I'm not a little bit nervous. See how it goes. The morning of the great release of lockdown, July 4, 2020. The pubs open at 6 o'clock in the morning. Some of them at least. I wonder how many people are in there already. I wonder. So good. The legs haven't stopped pedaling. They haven't been tempted to stop pedaling, which obviously is the fear, isn't it? When you're on a fixie, try and stop pedaling, your leg falls off. My legs are still attached, so that's always good. Coming in towards Western. Big improvement. Just pointed out, as AJ just pointed out, there's definitely a smell in the air of restaurants that are opening. And there's more people around, there's caravans on the road. Nice. Okay, so something I'm noticing then about this fixed gear thing. Russ is on pretty much identical gear into, well, he is identical gear into me. So bar any subtle difference in the circumference of the tyres, our cadence, our leg speed should be identical per speed for a mile an hour. But he seems to be far more comfortable at high cadence than I do. So I'm going to need to work on that, I guess. I've never really noticed that before on rides with Russ. Well, I guess it's true. Glastonbury Tour, and I shall forever associate the words Glastonbury Tour with the word lunch and halfway. So by the time we get there, we'll have done 65 of the 125 or 66, 67 of the 125 miles that we've got to go. Russ is on a bit of a smash fest. Thought we were going to take a steady one. He's going mad. Very impressive. We've decided to just bounce through Glastonbury, not pick up any lunch. It wasn't that long ago we stopped, only kind of 20 or so miles, so we're going to head back to basically the place we stopped before. So another 20 miles or so. I don't think anybody's feeling particularly tired right now. So we're about 80 miles into the ride now, and there's kind of three things that I'm getting the gist of. One of them is braking with my legs rather than the brakes. So in other words, kind of actually forcing the pedals to slow down. Surprising how fast you can scrub speed off. By doing that, it's almost like throwing a parachute out. Another one is track standing. Found that really tough to start with. Surprisingly, it should be easier on a fixed E really, but I found it much harder to start with. But I got that just now. I got that sorted, no problem. And the other one is resting your legs. It's surprising really, because when you're riding along and your legs are being forced around, you think it's going to be quite challenging to give them a rest. But actually, you know, it's easier than you might think. Just sort of stop pedaling really and just let your pedals take their legs around rather than doing anything about it. So yeah, of course the other side of it is my legs are tiring and we're just about coming up to our second cup of tea stop and I can't wait. Well, I'm forced to conclude at this stage of the ride at least that Russ and AJ out there are feeling stronger than I am. Flaking a bit here, but we've only got 30 miles or 35 miles or whatever it is to go, so there it is, 100 miles on a fixed gear bike and only 25 to go. Just a handful of miles to go now, maybe I don't know, 7, 8 miles, something like that. It's yeah, I mean it has been really hard and I've flaked quite badly over the last 30 miles, so it has been a real challenge, so I'm not going to pretend it hasn't, but it's been really enjoyable. I've not been able to keep the pace of Russ, but I'm not ashamed by that, you know. I think it's my first 200k on a fixie, having done pretty little fixie riding really. So I think it was a really good first attempt actually. A few things I should have done better I think, but generally quite happy with it so far. Okay, so that's 200k, 124 miles or something like that, anyway, there or thereabouts. Yeah, that was really hard. That was really hard. Like I said, there's things I definitely do differently if I did it again, but that's the point of this one. It's my first one on the fixie. It's all about learning, it's all about understanding it, but oh my goodness me, I'm looking forward to my bath. Whew. Pace was pretty good though, to be fair. That's probably another reason I'm feeling a bit tired. Pace is barely any slower than I would cover this on an average day if I was riding a full geared bike with a front. So actually I probably can't complain. All things considered, it's probably pretty good performance. Anyway, there you go, till the next time.